Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. This is part 2 of the Trump supporters are the only ones married with children for the next 50 years. I want you to understand that includes Latino people, black people, Asian people, and white people. But today I want to talk about replacement theory. It's come to my attention that YouTube algorithm removes likes, comments, and even views if they think it's coming from a bot. What makes it a bot? If you do all of that before 60 seconds, 61 seconds technically of the video. So make sure if you're listening to this that it's 61 seconds. I have some bad news. This might be one of the last videos that I made. I missed my court date. I'm being evicted and the landlord has literally bent over backwards, or the property manager has bent over backwards to help me do things because I said, hey, I'm a YouTuber. The economy has fallen just under the ground. But if you just stick with me during the holiday season, it'll pick up and I'll be making oodles and oodles money and you won't have to worry about anything. And so she's been trying to help me to postpone everything. And the court, the trial was supposed to occur, but I got the date wrong. I thought it was tomorrow. It was yesterday. So when I saw her today, I was telling her, hey, I got accepted into Amazon and I'll be making more than enough money for anything that you would need. But I need to go on a payment plan because it only pays this much a week, but it pays weekly and I can pay you every week. Let me make a payment plan. And she said, no, because you missed the court date, we want everything all in one lump sum. That's it. I guess I now wait like a week or so for the constable to come and kick me out. I'll make you all the same agreement. If somebody gives me a whole bunch of money, I will pay them back. But you have to say it in the hey, I want this. This is not a gift, Shakaama. I want this money back. Pay me weekly. This amount now is something like $7,000. Oh, but they also want me to pay for the court filing and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how much that. So now you should be able to click the thumbs up or thumbs down button and leave a comment without any problem. Let's talk about the replacement theory. So there are people both on the left and the right who are accusing the other side. Each side is accusing the other side. I'm a libertarian, by the way. Accusing the other side of concocting this theory, and they are coming out with it's anti-white, it's anti-American, it's whatever it is, it's anti-whatever they stand for. Neither side, and here's a lot of things, a lot of these relationship gurus, a lot of these political pundits or whatever, they never take a look at actual raw data. Raw data. We now have something like 15 to 20% virgin women. Why is that important? That is a stat, that is a measure of the continuation of the species. This is why they say Japan is not going to exist in 200 years. They have hit the point of no return already. They would need today for every woman of birthing age to have 10 children and have that year after year after year after year. Maybe then they would be saved. But humans aren't like that. Humans don't just all of a sudden switch to being Catholic. And I say Catholic because Catholics don't believe in condoms. They get married and don't believe in condoms. This is why you have Catholic families that are 10 to 15 children, right? It used to be that American women actually had 7 children on average. If you have 20% of the female population are virgins, that means that they're, first of all, not having children, right? That's what that means, right off the bat. And I am not talking about any of these women who call themselves, I'm not a woman, and I'm not talking about those. The data on those people is that they make up 0.0001% of the total population. So we are not talking about them. They do not impact society nor the population. I know that the woke agenda is in your face and it's talked about as if there were hundreds of millions of Americans who are like that, they're not. I assure you they're not. And for whatever reason, it's all up in the schools and all that sort of stuff. They don't exist. What do I mean by that? They literally have schools where there's nobody in the county like that, but the school is bending over backwards for this invisible child that they're talking about, that they're trying to do all this stuff about for. Doesn't exist. So when we're talking about population and society, we're talking about straight women and straight men. 20% virgin women. There's 30 to 40% virgin men. This is literally outrageous. So then you start taking a look at who are these people. And a lot of these people are exactly who you think they would be. What do I mean by that? Think about the ones in high school. Who was in high school that people made fun of in that sense? Now they are just 10 years older. That's all that happened. They are awkward, socially awkward, can't network, don't like to talk to people. And that's male and women, male and female. That's who's like that. You say, well, that's not their fault. That's just how they're. We didn't have that in the 50s. The nerds dated nerd chicks. The geeks dated geek chicks. But now we have the internet. What does that mean? The internet says every woman has an option. So the nerd chick sits at home believing that Prince Charming is literally gonna bust open her front door and be like, I am here to save you. And he has long flowing Latino hair or black hair or blonde hair, whatever, right? You think I'm kidding. They've literally written article after article after article of, my friend thinks that a man is going to magically appear at her doorstep and he's going to have muscles and he's going to be this, like this and that and the other. And she does not go out. She doesn't do anything. She's not on the dating scene. But even if she were to be on the dating scene, no man would pick her. No current man. Unless it was one of these virgin men. They could find each other. The geeks could find the geeks and the nerds could find the nerds. You thought we were just making stuff up in high school, right? It's just that we were brutally honest. Now you can't be brutally honest and you can't self-select people, right? What do I mean by that? Have you heard the term, stay in your lane? Well, you have to know your lane. Now, we can't say, this is your lane. You like anime. You need to hang out with guys who like anime. Or talk to guys who like anime. Don't hang out with guys. That's how you get kids out of wedlock. But talk to guys who like anime. Don't worry, you will know them. You like to play the violin. Talk to guys that like to play the violin. Now, high schoolers are not going to be as eloquent as Shakaama. Shakaama is very eloquent and he speaks the English language perfectly. What am I trying to say? They have made it so that you cannot communicate with each other. So that a woman cannot find who she's supposed to be with. Now, women say, oh girl, you're cute. Oh girl, you're fine. Oh girl, any man would love to have you. No. First of all, it used to be that the geek girls hung out with geek girls and the goth girls hang out with the goth girls and the chubby girls hang out with the chubby girls. And they would tell you exactly who you should be dating. You don't get the captain of the football team. You just don't. And if you did, what would that scenario play out to be? Goth chick gets with the captain of the football team and he used and abused her and they posted pics of her being with no clothes on and doing this, not and the other on the internet. And everybody laughed. There you go. That's it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the goth chick talks to the goth guys. And they go off and they get married and they have 10 goth children. They go off and have 10 goth children. And then they star in Sims 4. and they call it the Goth family. But seriously, today's women hype each other up for no reason. And all it does is it's a disservice to the woman, because now she believes, oh yes, I am fine. Oh yes, I am cute. And she literally has no chin, no cheekbone, no jawline. She's not statuesque. She has bad hair. She's one of the few human beings who were born with literally bad hair, split ends and also balding and all that sort of stuff. She's not cute. I'm sorry. She's not cute. To me, a guy who's shallow, talking about shallow stuff, this whole I'm triggered and you insulted. No, you need to listen and stop coddling people because you're placing them in the wrong lane. They are not cute. Every man would not want them. They need to be in the lane exactly where they should be. The goth chick needs to be with the goth guy. That's who's going to find her interesting, cute, sexy, and get married. And it's about marriage. Because let me tell you, here's the stats. White people are not going to exist in something like 200-300 years, something like that. We already have the Japanese on the way. We already have certain European countries on the way. Yes, they're letting in all of these quote-unquote immigrants into their things, and they say, well, we don't have you have the population. What they're trying to do is actually financial. They want to have, like the United States, an underclass of people who they can pay under the table and pay almost nothing and get the labor out of them. You do know that's what's going on, right? That's what this border crisis is, right? You understand that, right? I know it just got a little bit serious and a little bit deep. I went from talking about goth chicks to the crisis at the border and a permanent underclass of people. And they want to shove black people into that underclass as well. But black people are not going for that because black people are just as educated and just as cultured as white people. We are in the whole world, black Americans are almost exactly like white Americans. I know they keep telling you that black Americans are so poor and uneducated, and it's all a lie. It's all a complete lie. I just looked at one of the poverty things, and we're talking about the food insecurity. Of course, white people dominate. There are more food insecure white people than there are black people. Now, I don't just mean numbers. I also mean per capita. And in fact, of course, there are more white people in food insecure locations than there are black, Latino, and Asians put together. But the people who are trying to hype up white people will tell you that, the black people are just so dirt poor and they dominate all the welfare and the food stamps. If they're handing out money, they're not handing it to black people. Trust me. Trust me on that one. You are doing a disservice to your girlfriend if you tell her that she's cute, yes, queen, all of that stuff. You need to tell her exactly what she has to hear, not what she wants to hear, not what you, in your heart of heart, want to tell her. You need to tell her what Shakaama, the internet dad, would tell her. No, you are not cute. You shouldn't be going out dressed like that. You shouldn't be having this and that hangout. That's not you. That's not your lane. You don't have that body. You're not even immoral like that. A lot of atheists want to claim that they can be just as moral as Christians. Okay, then prove it. Because you're definitely not proving it so far. Prove it. Can you have a moral atheist society? I have to confess I'm neither Christian nor atheist. Oh, what are you, Shakaama? That's none of your business. Anyway, you don't need to have women being in a different lane than they are. That means you don't need... This isn't the movie Grease, right? Where they took the sweet and innocent Olivia Newton-John and they turned her and they put tight leather pants, skin-tight leather pants on so you could see every curve, every crevice, everything on her, permed her hair so she had like a partial afro, and huge red lipstick, and powder and blush, and a halter top, with off the shoulder. Why do I know so much about women's dress? because I used to design women's clothing. I was almost famous for it. I submitted to Project Runway, and I made the fifth round or something like whatever. Assuming that you go from 10 to 1, I made it in the fifth round. I actually got seen by the actual real people who actually are on the show, not just to say, yeah, you're ugly, get out of here. And I had to fight with my model, and I had to fight to get my dresses back because the model's, this is such a nice dress. Can I have it? No, that's my only dress like that. Anyway, you don't have to turn the sweet, innocent Amish girl into a hussy. I don't know what that word. I don't speak slang, so I have no idea what. You don't have to turn her into a prostitute. If she is a sweet and innocent girl, she needs to remain a sweet and innocent girl. You know who she should be introduced to? Sweet and innocent men. And this is where I do part ways with people like Andrew Tate. What's his name? Kevin Samuels. I think there's big enough room for all types of men and women. I'm only talking about straight people. I think it's perfectly fine if you make $40,000 a year and you're a sweet and innocent man. That's perfectly fine. You need to be introduced to sweet and innocent women. Every woman does not need to be on OnlyFans. Come on. Every woman doesn't need to be on Shakaama Hub. Every woman doesn't need to be in Gucci, Fendi, Armani, Ralph Lauren. They don't. Hey, Ralph Lauren would love it if they all were. Actually, Ralph Lauren would. Neither would Gucci. I bet you didn't know, but I bet you if all of you different types and sizes and races of women were to go and interview the designers that you are spending hundreds of dollars on and said, would you like it if I wore your clothes? I bet you would be stunned when they said, no, I don't like your kind. What did I say? Sizes, races, color, whatever, right? Would you like it if I wore your clothes? No, I don't. I don't want to see you in my clothes. You're disgusting. I draw your attention to Oprah Winfrey, who had a show, and she was wearing something like that, Ralph Lauren or whatever, and they had the first segment, and he said, I don't like seeing black women in my clothes. And she was wearing the top of the line Ralph Lauren. During the break, she took off the Ralph Lauren and came back and did the show in a house robe, which said two things. We're going to get rid of the clothing, and I don't even respect you enough to even wear anything decent in front of you. You all are chasing up stuff that you don't need to be chasing up. But you don't have a father to tell you that. It wouldn't even occur to you to even ask that question. What's so funny is you call yourselves, oh, I'm so progressive, but you don't know that you are spending your money and giving it to people who hate you, who also call themselves progressive. I believe with the data that I've seen that white people will be non-existent in something like 500 years. 1,000 years I think at 1,000 years, the last white person going to take their breath. But I also believe that the same goes for Asians, and Latinos. And who's going to be left is going to be the black people. Why? Because black people, first of all, can tolerate all sorts of ridiculous diseases. You have no idea of the diseases in Africa. You couldn't even imagine. And there's people who live in Africa. I mean, call me crazy. So if you're going to have another one of these pandemics that wipes everybody, is going to wipe everybody out but Africa. So what's the solution? Stop placing women in the wrong lane. They're being told that they need to chase Prince Charming, who's 6'3" and long flowing hair, no matter if he's Latino, white, Asian, or black. They would be much happier if they got a goth guy. They would be much happier if they got a homebody. They would be much happier if they got a bookworm. You are doing this to, you all need to share this video to every woman you could possibly lay eyes on. Women are destroying women. You're putting them in a lane that they're not supposed to be in. You're doing that. And you're ruining the little girls. I mean, 13 and up. You're ruining them. Oh, they need to be boy crazy like me. No, they don't need to be boy crazy like you. It's bad that you're boy crazy, but don't try and spread that around. I know misery loves company, and you probably don't realize that's what you're doing. But that's what you're doing. You're destroying. It's not just a case of you need to wear something hot and be sexy. That's not the type of. She knows it. Deep down in her heart, she knows it. Why? Because I've seen them on podcasts talking to each other. When they actually get with like-minded women, they say, "Yeah, it's a sad situation, but we have to just tolerate this. And people are gonna hate you if you don't wear these types of clothing." And what they mean by people, they mean women. A man is probably never going to tell you he doesn't like women. I might. I might, but most guys would not. In fact, even if you think you're having a bad hair day, most guys are not going to tell you you have a bad day. Most guys. I might, but I'm not most guys. Let's try my thing for a little bit, for a little while. Let's put the goth chicks with the goth guy. Let's leave the Amish girls to hang out with each other. And if they come and say, can you dress me like you need to say, no. You need to stay in your lane. Your entire life has been Amish land. This is not glamorous. This is circling the drain. And it's getting faster as each year progresses. Stay with your Amish people. You probably are going to be much more successful than all of us put together. Because probably, if you go back to Amish land, you're going to have 5 to 10 children. And they're all are going to be eating much better, not having anywhere near the diseases that we have, and probably be happier with your 99% of the chance. Much happier with your man than we are with ours. Because we are not in our lane. Have you thought about that? That you're unhappy because you're not in your correct lane. Thank you all for. Please donate.